Hey guys, PepperAmmy here. Spring has sprung, and with Easter just around the corner, this week we are taking a look at something for the Easter weekend. That is hot cross buns. Now these are absolutely simple to make and they taste great. Now, as well as the ingredients, additionally for this recipe you will need one piping bag. Then for the buns you will need 300 ml of warm milk, 50 grams of melted butter, 500 grams of strong bread flour, 1 teaspoon of salt, 75 grams of caster sugar, 1 tablespoon of sunflower oil, a sachet of fast action yeast, probably around 7 grams. I used 11 grams, this just made it rise a lot faster, 1 egg, preferably beaten, 75 grams of sultanas, 50 grams of mixed peel. Now if you can't find mixed peel, I do have a recipe for mixed peel that will be linked at the end and possibly in a card as I'm speaking. The zest of 1 orange, one apple peeled, cored and finely chopped, 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of allspice, and then for the glaze you will need 3 tablespoons of apricot jam or marmalade and a tablespoon of water. Start by combining all the dry ingredients in the bowl and give a quick mix to combine, and then add in your wet ingredients and fully mix to combine. Now you may need to add some extra flour depending on the flour you use, but as a note, this will obviously change the final weight of your dough and could yield more or less buns. Now additionally, you can start by blooming your yeast in some of the warm milk and sugar, but I skipped this step as I was fairly certain my yeast was alive and active. Now for the fun part of making bread, kneading the dough. Now this can be a bit of a weird dough to knead due to the fact that it's got lumps in it, but just keep stretching and kneading until you can stretch the dough without ripping and it stays nice and smooth. Now once your dough is nice and smooth, or as smooth as a lumpy dough can be, place it in a large bowl and let proof for around an hour or until doubled in size. Now I proofed mine in the conservatory on a warm day, so it took slightly less time, and with most bread recipes you want to keep an eye on the size of the dough rather than the time it takes. You do not want to overproof your bread doughs. Now once that dough is proofed, just punch it right in its fluffy face and weigh the knocked back dough and divide into even balls. Now I went for 18 rolls, so mine were roughly 79 grams each. Place some baking paper over a baking tray and place your bun balls on the paper. Now you want to do this with some distance between them. I did mine in groups of 6. And additionally you can place them in a dish. This will also give them some nice colour underneath. And then simply dampen a tea towel and place over your buns and let proof again until once again doubled in size. Now the reason why you want to use a damp tea towel is to stop the buns drying out on top, and that will stop the dough doubling in size and it will give a really hard nasty shell on the top of your buns. Now once your buns have risen, preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius or 400 degrees Fahrenheit. You can optionally move them close together so they bake and attach, like how you see them in pre-packaged hot cross buns. And then this also gives you the satisfying bread ripping as you separate the buns. Now for years I wondered what the cross on hot cross buns was made of, and it's actually surprisingly simple. Simply combine 75 grams of flour with 5 tablespoons of water. Now you want to add a tablespoon at a time so you don't make your mixture too runny. And then simply mix until you have a smooth paste with as few lumps as possible. And then pour this into a piping bag. Snip off the tip. Now you want to start off small and work your way up, because obviously if you take a big chunk off, you can't make the hole smaller again. And then you can practice the lines on some kitchen paper and test how big the hole is and then how thick your lines are going to be. And then once ready, simply pipe the crosses along the top of the buns. And then simply place the buns in the oven to bake for 20 minutes. If you are cooking these on multiple shelves, you may need to rotate, as the tray that I was cooking mine in was below the others, so they didn't colour as quickly. Then once baked, simply remove from the oven and combine your 3 tablespoons of apricot jam with 1 tablespoon of water and heat in the microwave until it is warm. Now you don't want this to be too hot, because working with hot jam is extremely dangerous. And then simply just glaze the top of your buns. This will give them the nice, shiny, sticky top that you always see on hot cross buns. And then simply place on a cooling rack and allow to cool. Now with these you can obviously enjoy them cold, but my favourite way to have them is cutting them in half and then toasting them and just spreading a thin layer of butter over the top. And they just taste amazing and they fill the house with a wonderful aroma. And, well, what's not to like about that? But anyway, that does it for this week's episode. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe Easter next week, and I will see you all again next week. Thanks for watching.